microphone check 1 2. This ain't no ordinary stream. From the ashes, Phoenix talks manifest in a dream. Got a growing channel, YouTube's where the wisdom resides. For all the Nest members, no truth can ever hide. She's an under detective on the digital beat, questioning the unthinkable, bringing fire to the heat. With a mind so advanced, highly intelligent and bold, part of the hive mind with birdie stories to unfold. Common sense is a superpower, cutting through the noise, unlocking closed minds, amplifying all our voices.
Phoenix, Phoenix, what do you see? Unlocking knowledge for you and me. The nest is rising strong and true, sharing wisdom, me and you. Clap, clap, clap for the truth we seek. Every answer, week by week.
Hey y'all, it's Friday evening. How are you? I am so excited to be back. I am more focused than ever. I should have had some coffee this morning. And for Friday, August 8th, 2025, we are rocking and rolling. I have got some great stuff lined up for you. Let me just drop this bird. I've always wanted to say that. We're talking about no motive, missing evidence, and no trial, obviously. And we're going to be talking bonus crime scene photos. So let me let y'all in here. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Get into this, nesters. How are you? Hey, Les, good to see you. You showed up early. Dina, hello. Hey, Patty. Finally, it worked. I'm not being shadow banned. CW, welcome in. And there you are again. Welcome, welcome. So I know there's probably not a lot of people that are going to be on live right now. It is a Friday night. Some people go out and chill. And, you know, like I said, we are going to be chit-chatting about no motive first. And there is no motive. That's why my screen is blank. In the Idaho 4 unalivings, murders of the 4 college students, it blows my mind that there is no motive. How about you? How about you? Happy Friday, eyes wide open. Good to see you in the house. Denise, welcome in. CW, hello. So, I mean, think about this. There's still no motive. Will we ever have a motive for why these 4 were unalived? Do you know how powerful this is? There's no motive. None. This is the first case that I've ever seen any prosecutors not have a motive. Are we like trying to pull the wool over people's eyes? Is this what we're doing in 2025? I don't know about you. Let's talk about the missing evidence, right? So this is the only piece of evidence that we have that suggests Kohberger being the suspect, the defendant in this case. And when I say evidence, I mean what evidence? I'm sure maybe you guys have seen what touch DNA evidence is. I could show you a video and take up about 20 minutes of your time. But this DNA evidence, it's touch DNA. It's from a snap, they say, that was matched to Kohberger. And how did they get that evidence? From a Q-tip and trash in Pennsylvania. Now, is this ethical? Is this constitutional? Did they blur the lines in getting the genetic genealogy? Perhaps. They went against their own policy. They went above and beyond to make sure they got his DNA. And it's just gross. It's not Bryan's anyways. It was his dad's. Absolutely. And, you know, the percentage that they got back, it couldn't exclude him. But to say that the DNA was close to his dad's DNA, typically you have to have maternal DNA. Remember, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Yes, moms are close to their children because they share that genetic bond. It is a very strong genetic bond. And what are you talking about, Phoenix? That used to be my specialty when I was in the arena of natural health care. Now, mind you, I did go to college to become a nurse. I went to nursing school and I disliked it. I did not like my rounds. I did not like anything. I just decided that's not what I wanted to do. And I went into alternative medicine. Now, keep in mind that I spent about 12 years in this area. Genetic data that we pass down, that is why mothers are so close to their children. Not only do we house them for 9 months, we have a special bond with our children. Now, a lot of people don't know that I've done this and this was my background. Some people do, and that's where they've seen my published books that I've yet have not published them anymore. I stopped publishing them in 2015 when I retired. And I don't get out here on social media and tell you all about my autoimmune issues. I don't go and make videos on the TikTok saying how bad everything is to gain sympathy. I've learned from my autoimmune issues that I have struggled with for a very long time. That's what got me into natural medicine. I struggled. Do I still struggle? Absolutely. But I'm not out here yelling and screaming out the streets, oh my God, it's so bad. Yes, I am on biologics. Yes, I do have good days and bad days. I recovered from a stroke in 2022. So a lot of you people, you say, oh, she can't speak or articulate very well. I've had to learn to re-speak, people. I can still be creative and still follow instructions and do my daily task. But let me tell you what happened after that stroke. Certain things naturally changed in my neurology patterns, and I had to make new pathways to relearn certain things. And I will tell you, it has helped me a lot become more creative than I've ever been. Something that died off in that pattern, that pathway, I forget what they call them. My neurologist explained to me. Your brain now has to go and make pathways to connect for you to make new ways, okay? New thinking. And it's easy to take on something like this, and it's something that interests you. And it's not so much this case that interests me, it's what people don't see beyond this case. And I look at a big picture, like, why are they pushing this narrative? Why are they pushing this into the mainstream media? What are they trying to accomplish here? And when I say they, we kind of get an idea of who they are. But how that affects the everyday person, stomping on our constitutional rights, part of that DNA could possibly have crossed the lines. Where, being ex-military, I swore to defend the Constitution of the United States of America, both foreign and domestic. And if that means I need to stand up and as we the people, a citizen of the United States of America, I will. And if I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I believe, in my humble opinion, Kohberger may have been framed, yes, I'll speak up all day long about it. But like I've always said, and Bertie says it too, if Kohberger is guilty in any part of this, he should be given his just sentence, right? I think we can all agree. We're definitely smart individuals. And if it comes out that he is associated with this case, absolutely, he should be held responsible. But I kind of feel he's been railroaded, and I'll show you a couple of things why, and I'll tell you why. I like to do show and tell. In the military, I used to teach total quality leadership and total quality management, and I used to teach civilians and officers. After I got out of the military, I stayed overseas for a few years, and that's what I did as a civilian. I loved it. It was the best job ever. And when you're in a role of leadership, you have to be able to teach. I like show and tell, and I'm giving you show and tell. So enough about me. Let's talk about this evidence, or let's say missing evidence, because I'm about to show you a video that I made, and I want you to think about this. What was, well, let's watch it, and then you can tell me what you think, because I want to know what they were thinking in doing this. What was their goal? What was their motive? What was their goal? Let's watch it real quick. Let me just make sure it pops up here. Yep, we're good to go. Let's watch it. And here we go. Let me start it over.
Okay. This is from the Moscow Police Department. Brett Payne writes this on 6/3/23. I'm sorry, 6/13/23. They know they're going to trial. They know they have to hurry up and do something. They purchase, guys, a K-bar. This goes into evidence. They purchase a K-bar, a sharpener, and vegan supplements from Amazon. Okay? The police department purchases this. Are you following me? Type a 1, because I'm going to ask what you guys think, not what I think. Okay, you ready? Okay. So the police department purchases, again, a K-bar, and they market item 733. Now, isn't that the one they just checked out because they're going to Spokane to do an autopsy with Dr. S? And item 733 is a K-bar, but they mention it from a different case, which I just told you that I FOIA'd, which I haven't heard anything. Probably takes a while. But item 733 here is a K-bar. Item 734 is the K-bar sharpener, and item 735 is the vegan supplements. Now, listen to what it says. This is Payne writing it. On Tuesday, June 13, 2023, Detective Darren Gilbertson from ISP provided me with 3 packages he obtained by ordering the items from Amazon. Detective Gilbertson stated he purchased the items in the same fashion used by Kohberger to purchase a K-bar with sheath, the K-bar sharpener, and a bottle of supplements. Now, mind you, in all the other documents that I have read, all 314 or whatever, 300 plus, they never mention he orders one, but he was given one, and there was no Amazon gift card. I photographed each of the packages and their content along with the order paperwork Detective Gilbertson's provided me. The packages contain 1 K-bar, straight fighting knife with a leather USM sheath, and a K-bar sharpener and a bottle of vegan supplements. I attached all the photos in this case and book all the items into MPD evidence on June 12th. June 13th, 2023. The paperwork was included in the package containing the knife itself. And look at this. No one said anything about it. Now, let me get your feedback.
Oh my God. I am so sorry. I have been just like ranting. So, you saw the video. Now, ISP, the Idaho State Police, buy this K-bar knife. They buy the sharpener and the supplements to mimic the alleged actions of the suspect. And this may cross into ethically questionable territory in the court of law. Law enforcement accountability, too, because it risks creating a manufactured narrative. Now, remember, I was married to a sheriff for 12 years. And when you see stuff like this happening, you have to question yourself, what is going on? Now, well, framed for demonstrative evidence, remember Judge Hippler said, well, if you're going to show the knife, and everybody kind of gasped and said, oh my God, they have the knife? This is the knife they were going to show the jury. And doing this replication of the order, it could blur the line between evidence collection and evidence staging, especially if the jurors or the public are led to believe these purchased items are directly connected to the suspect, Bryan Kohberger, alleged, rather than props for illustration. Now, think about this, whether it was unintentionally or deliberately, it's confirmation bias. Investigators already convinced the suspect's guilt and the conduct, the exercise, the way that fits their theory, rather than neutrally testing it. In doing this, by buying the K-bar and doing everything they did, it could be perceived as prejudicial, leading the jury to believe that this was the actual knife. It's not just the visual show theater of it. It's lending undue weight to circumstantial evidence. That's undermining public trust. How does that make you feel as a citizen now? Not only is the MPD perhaps allegedly, like with the body cam things that I showed you the other day in the reports, somebody borrowed somebody else's body cam and that the officer wrote a report. Those aren't my photos of the day of question of the murders. That's not my photos, dude. But this is how we lose trust in our police. And is somebody doing this to implement defunding the police is what my question is, in my own opinion. Because law enforcement is acting impartial. They're impartial fact finders rather than case builders. They're not building a case against him. They're trying to find things that will sentence him to a death penalty. This is what they wanted to do. Now, I'm not playing on his autism, but yes, somebody took advantage of him. We've never heard him talk more than 3 words. We don't know what kind of individual he really is. We don't know his level of education or intellect. We've never heard him speak. But like I said, and I know from my own experience, ASD people, I have been certified by the state to assist people with ASD. I help take care of somebody who is ASD. I'm a legal guardian of somebody who has ASD. They could potentially be lifelong learners. That means they love school. They love education. They will learn, even though they don't socially react well with others. It's not creepy. It's just their environment, their capabilities. That's like many of you didn't know I had a stroke in 22, and you guys have come to watch the channel and love what I have to offer. And a lot of OGs are in the house. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. You would have never known that about me if I didn't share that about me. But in my humble opinion, what this proves is missing evidence. They never had the knife. They went out and replicated it. They replicated an order. And thank God they didn't get to a trial to prove a possibly innocent man. They had to fit the evidence they had or what they were going to do. And that's just not props or illustration. That's unethical. Totally unethical. Would you all agree to that? Would you agree that that's unethical? So that was their presentation strategy, but thank God there was no trial. At trial, an investigator could have holed up the Idaho State purchase K-bar and sheath and said, this is the same model, brand, and packaging as the one purchased in the defendant's account records. This is far easier for jurors to understand than just looking at an Amazon screenshot. This is terrible. This is terrible. And how would the defense challenge that? They could argue, how do we know that he supposedly ordered looks like it comes packaged as this? Amazon listing changes over time. By making the same method purchase at roughly the same time in the investigation, law enforcement locks and how the product was sold and packaged and labeled, because Brent Payne said he took a picture right away of it. That's chain of evidence, chain of custody. They have to verify orders from Amazon. Were they going to have somebody from Amazon, an expert, come in and say, yeah, that was the exact one? No, that's not how IRE, Idaho Rules of Evidence, works. You have to have proof. So that's chain of custody and documentation. He preserved it as evidence right out of the package. What Kohberger allegedly ordered and what ISP actually received following the same process. But it can be a distraction. It can be misleading. I guess misleading is the word I'm looking for. That's like you could say, so-and-so drives a red car and they were seen getting gas at the murder of the crime that was half a block away, and we know this person did this. And they have no other proof other than they were at the gas station pumping their gas. And it was wild. Wild. Now, in the Moscow police reports, it was said, yes, that there were, you know what, let's take a look at these real quick. I think I've got this up for you. I want to share this. So there are evidence logs. Let me pull this up real quick. There are evidence logs, a receipt of property when Bryan Kohberger was arrested in Pennsylvania. And I just want to show this. On here is listed I don't know if I can highlight this. I can't. One knife. They collected one knife. And then halfway down, there is a total of 3 guns, Glock 40s. Magazines. There are 3 magazines, sorry, but there was a Glock on here, 22, right here, caliber and a serial number. And a Glock 22, guys, sometimes there are police service pistols. I don't know if you're aware of that. I don't know how he would have got a police service pistol. Now, I have a few. I know how I got them. But I mean, you can buy them off gun shops. You can buy them online. You can buy them at your local store. But why would he be carrying a Glock 22? Think about that. Why would he be carrying a Glock 22? And he had a Smith & Wesson pocket knife. There's another knife. Some vehicle paperwork, a computer, a laptop, green plastic baggie, a black face mask, prescription, black gloves, black mask. And I know that there were a couple of more things on here that was like, oh, that's interesting. It's interesting, but nothing like major. right? Nothing major. I don't see anything that pops out that says, oh my God, you know, maybe he was smoking a little weed, but nothing massive. There was no cocaine or heroin or any of that found in his belongings. You know, and I just throw in a note right quick. Sometimes people with ASD, they shouldn't be smoking marijuana either, because that THC could be very difficult for some to metabolize and cause psychosis. So, you know, I never recommend trying anything that you don't know your body's reaction to. But there's nothing on here that I've seen that would stand out to me and be like, oh man, this guy's freaking guilty, right? This is the evidence, and let me share the Commonwealth website right here. This is the redacted PCA. So when they went to go arrest him in Pennsylvania, they had to have paperwork done via court. So the Commonwealth obviously had to put some filings on their website. And this is the list of all the documents on their website. And you can go there and you can see these documents for yourself. So this is one of the documents that they, you know, the FBI took for receipt of property. This is the FBI that went in there and arrested him. Okay. So, I mean, that's just the only evidence besides his car. And they basically took his car apart. He didn't take his car apart, guys. This is the sworn affidavit from Brett Payne. All unredacted. If you go to Idaho State, theirs is redacted. So you can go and you can look at everything in this document. Everything. So there is so much missing evidence, right? No motive, no real evidence, no fingerprints, no witness. I mean, it's almost impossible to say he's guilty. How could they say there was what evidence, right? And then no trial. I mean, we can definitely get into that if you want. But in Idaho, you know, you have to have some real evidence. When the prosecution says they were ready to go to court trial, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because there's no motive, missing evidence, no trial. I mean, I don't know how many times I can say this over and over again. I mean, it's been the same for 2 years. Right? If you think about it, in November 13th, 2022, they arrest him in December. And because of the heavy gag order and the secrecy, even with that, the strange part is the foundation of this case feels so, excuse me, I got hiccups, so incomplete. I mean, if you thought he was guilty, what would even be his motive in your own words? What would you think? What would you think? Oh, the PCA, the probable cause for arrest, is unredacted. It's unredacted in Pennsylvania, but it's redacted on the court website for Idaho. Just to clarify your question, KS Gensart. So if you thought he was guilty, what would even be a motive? I mean, all these possible theories floating out there. I think we talked about the rumors the other day. They're not confirmed. And is it even something to talk about? Because why motive matters to jurors, even if it's not legally required. It's not required in Idaho. They don't have to prove a motive. I mean, do you think a motive is necessary to convince a jury? Shouldn't it be just on evidence and facts? And if they have no facts or missing, if they have no evidence or missing evidence, then factually, he is factually innocent. And that is why Ann Taylor kept saying, my client is innocent. He is factually innocent. So there's no murder weapon recovered. The DNA is single-touched or what's the word I'm looking for? Bamboozled DNA that just appears on a knife sheath snap, in my humble opinion. No confirmed eyewitness placing Kohberger inside during the murders. I mean, he's not a super ninja or Spider-Man cross between hybrid. Cell phone data questions only shows movements, not the actual act. Surveillance video is grainy and circumstantial. We went over that last night. That is the undercover car going forward and backwards, right? I mean, let's think about that for a minute. And explain why missing, to me, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. They could have been saving that for trial, but I've seen nothing. The only thing that they've done since sentencing is open up a can of worms and caused more questions now that we're seeing the actual police reports and the crime scene photos. Who would agree? Don't we have millions of more questions now? Yeah, I agree, Carrie. The most frightening thing is they wanted to put an innocent man to death. They wanted to hurry up, build that facility that I talked about when I was in Boise. They want to build that facility as fast as they can where they can push the button in one room and he would be put to death in another room. Firing squad electronically. I agree. Yeah, one of the things that Hitler did say that Syway was a conspiracy theorist, which blew my mind. So when you talk about legal timelines, he does have the ability to appeal. I don't know if he will. And then he has the ability for post-conviction relief. But here's the deal with this. And I'll talk about this just real quick since we're talking about no trial. When you start saying, what's my legal, and remember, I'm no legal expert. I've just had my own experience. Yes, Phoenix has been arrested. Oh my God. I've been charged, but exonerated and charges dismissed because people wanted to try to get me in trouble. Yes, I am not Miss Goody Two-Shoes. So if anybody ever says, oh, she's been arrested, yes, I've been arrested. I've been arrested for some stupid shit, people. I'm a little rebel. It got me to understand our justice system. It really did. And why it can be so difficult to get out of something when you're deep into it or somebody has framed you or accused you of something wrong. It's horrible. It's like you're in a chokehold and you can't get out of it. Well, in my case, the special prosecutor dismissed the charges when I proved them wrong, and they scrubbed it from the repository so that I would never have to have the embarrassment of it. So now you can all take a deep breath and know that I'm not perfect, and a sigh of relief that I've told you on my own before somebody else had the ability to tell you. Okay? So with that, this little rebel's going to continue. Even though they basically said the legal timeline for his defense attorneys to file an appeal or whatever, the motions that Ann Taylor filed to remove the death penalty, you saw Judge Hitler, nope, not going to do it. How about all the motions to compel for the prosecution? 7 motions to compel to give the evidence over. There was no evidence. There was no evidence. And then the gag order impact was huge because nothing came out. They were making it all up. So much speculation and misinformation. The role of social media and the true crime community kept this case alive, guys. And this is why we're hearing that he may have been framed. If it wasn't for social media talking about this case or the media, this case would have been buried and no one would have known about it. I mean, think about the trial, no trial. I should say no trial. I mean, obviously he was tried by the media. No official motive, no key evidence, not yet shared with the public. No evidence. No evidence. I can't believe that he didn't go to trial, said he was guilty to save his butt from the death penalty. I really believe it was legal strategy. Is he going to appeal? Have no idea. We'll keep searching for the truth out there. What about you? Are you going to keep searching for the truth? So let's take a look at these crime scene photos. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for this? This was the bonus. On my live earlier today, I said we will talk about these crime scene photos. Whoop, whoop. Here we go. Hopefully you saw my window on the you saw my video on the crime scene photos, right? Hopefully you guys did. What do you think? I will real quick. I'll share this real quick. And these crime scene photos that you're seeing right here that people are saying that this is Kohberger's hands are absolutely 100% wrong. And I'm going to show you the police report that says exactly what is on the window. So this was the picture of one of the crime scene photos that was released today. And in fact, these fingerprints are clear in the supplemental report number 1, made by Corbin Smith. And on page 2, let me get that for you. Now guys, I want to go back just a tiny bit here. I want to point something out right here. These little hands that you see, little hands, that sounded funny. Those little hands that you see on that window is the kitchen window. I'll repeat. That is the kitchen window. And just for reference, I want to show you this picture. This picture, I believe, hold on one second. I want to make sure. That is the right window. Because I was looking at windows. Let me show you something. Can you guys see this? So this was posted by Maddie Mogan on 10/17/22. Stuffed pumpkin peppers. She was making a video for Halloween week. And I looked at this window, and this is the actual sink to the right that's a little cut off. And someone told me, oh no, that's not it. Yes, this is it. The planter and both planters, the terracotta planter and the white bucket planter, are both in the kitchen window, and you can see her JBL speaker or somebody's speaker, and then some incense. So when you look at that, you know for a fact that is the window that I'm sharing right here. Okay. Now, when I get to that picture, this picture of the little handprints here, I'm not sure where this picture was taken. If you guys know where this picture was taken, was that on the side of the house with the other picture? Because there was a roommate in 2021 in this house, and he has a picture of the side of the house, and this looks to be on the sliding glass door side. So when I show you this little hand picture, those are little hands. They're not big hands. So let me go back to this real quick. I'll read just the sentence to spell it out for you. I observed a trail of footsteps headed away from the slider that turned right
around a stump in the backyard that led toward the front of the house. I observed a set of small handprints on the window to the east of the slider. The screen to this window appeared damaged and it was laying on the ground. I located smudged fingerprints on the glass slider door. Right there. They were small. They were not big man handprints. I don't know why they were on the window. God only knows. However, that screen off of that window was already off of the window. And I'll show you that next. In the noise complaint.
Now that is the window on the other side of the kitchen. That is not the kitchen window. And I specified this because a lot of people were saying, oh, no, that's the kitchen window. No, this is the other side. There were fingerprints on both windows. If you guys didn't know that, it's in the report. So let's finish watching this.
Video on CopCam on August 16, 2022. You see Kaylee and Hunter Johnson, and right down there, you see the screen door on the ground. So this screen door was off of the window.
Not screen door, I meant the window screen.
For probably some time. It didn't look like maintenance was done to put the screen back on the window. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 3 months. 3 months that screen was on the ground. So I'm going to always give you the facts and the truth here. Well, facts and evidence at least. We don't know what the truth is in this whole case, but I will show you something I found very interesting as a bonus.
Okay, so that was that part, obviously, for that evidence. And something that I want to point out real quick while we're here, you know, I don't know if you can see to the right of my screen, they have posted Bryan Kohberger's picture right with this window on Law and Crime. And they're basically telling their viewers that those are Bryan's handprints. It's like smoke and mirrors. They're just putting that out there that these are his fingerprints. I'll click on the video so you'll see it.
We are getting a look for the very first time inside the house on King Road as crime scene.
Now, there's the picture of the kitchen that I showed you, the terracotta plant and the white bucket. And see these pans that are here? And it looks like somebody moves things over. They move things over. But this photo they have in the beginning of this, it is like they put his face up there.
We are getting a look for the...
Now there's this is the stairway in the back, to the back closest to the screen, is where Dylan would have to run down the stairs and see the bathroom off to the left and Xana's room straight ahead. And that door opens right to left, like I have been saying for so long. So how in the world could Dylan not see Xana in a puddle of blood? Because it's all blurred out. How could they not see? I mean, I could see it right here. Was the door not opened all the way? I mean, Hunter said that he didn't have any problems going in the house. So why does everybody else have the... I mean, it just blows my mind. Blows my mind. Let's finish watching.
Very first time inside the house on King Road as crime scene photos are released. And that full security video from the house next door shows the eerie moments leading up to the murders of 4 university.
Now, one thing I want to note in this picture. Where'd I go? Hold on a minute.
We are getting a look for the very first time inside the...
They're saying that this was from the crime scene. Now, the photo over here onto the left, you can see the crime scene tape. So obviously this picture was taken during the crime scene photo. But I showed another picture that was during a TikTok video where she was making those bell peppers. Okay. This is the actual crime scene. So whoever moved things in the crime scene, I don't know when it happened, but you're going to see pictures that show all these things dumped out, plants dumped over. I speculate, this is my own speculation, that it possibly could have been the crime scene investigators processing the scene, accidentally knocked over the plant, or like I said, someone was trying to get in that window. Someone small.
House on King Road as crime scene photos are released. And that full security video from the house next door shows the eerie moments leading up to the murders of 4 University of Idaho college students. I go through all of it. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. It's been a little more than 2 weeks now since Bryan Kohberger was shipped off to a maximum security prison to start serving his 4 consecutive life sentences for the murders of Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. And now we are getting a look at just a little bit of the massive amount of evidence still to be released by the Moscow Police Department. Crime scene photos from 1122 King Road have been released to a Boise TV station, KTVB.
Now, I want to preface this. I want to share this so we can go through these real quick. She's going to show you some of these. This was the kitchen in the, oh, hold on. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. This was the kitchen. This was the bedroom. I've got a couple of extra crime scene photos that you guys may have not seen yet, just so you know. Don't get shocked. I'm not going to show anything really gruesome. I just want to give you a warning in case you haven't seen these. There's some odd stuff that I've seen in here. Another bedroom. I mean, I could probably go in and zoom in. We can go in and zoom in as much as we can here. And that's the beauty that I have with these pictures. You can see a little bit more. Now, does anybody know whose room this was? I mean, I looked around. I mean, there's some really strange stuff in this room. I didn't know whose room this was. Anybody? I could only take a guess. That's Dylan's room. Yeah, that's what I thought. I had a feeling. There's some things that they blocked out on the wall. Don't know what that is. I don't think this is Xana's room. Xana's bed was up against the wall. That has to be Dylan's. I mean, I zoomed in as much as I could to see what kind of, I mean, I'm zooming in a lot for you guys. I think I'm at like 200. I was looking at some of the things around on the board, why they blacked this out. I don't know what that is. Some strange drawings. The butterfly reminds me of Hannibal Lecter movies. Hopefully you guys can see this pretty good. Stuff on the ground. Don't know what all this is. I mean, some of it's still blurry. And then obviously you can see that was Maddie's room, crime scene. I don't know what they were doing, packing up something or moving something inside there. That's the bathroom right there. Here's some of the crime scene from Xana's. I'm sorry, this is Maddie's bedroom, I believe. So you can kind of see, might have taken off their clothes, their shoes. Zoom in all around. I don't see a lot of red stuff in here, guys. Some on the door. Nothing major. And this is because, in my humble opinion, the crime scene was cleaned up. And I do not believe, in my humble opinion, allegedly, they were even unalived here. Now, this one might be a little bit more graphic. They did show this on the Today Show. This was released. That is a little bit more graphic. But if you guys have never seen Gypsy Rose's Blanchard's mother's crime scene photos, this is nothing compared to what they saw in that case. The Greene County Sheriff's Department, I got all the documents. They're loaded up on a website. You can go check them out. This is nothing compared to what I've seen in real life and in crime scene photos. And the last one is the kitchen. So let's finish watching what Angelette Levy has to say, and we'll follow watching this.
Law and Crime has actually requested a long list of items from Moscow PD and other agencies and has not yet received a response. But Idaho residents, they get a quicker response to these records requests. KTVB shared these photos that they received, and they show areas inside the home which are blurred and redacted. There are also images of the sliding glass door that Bryan Kohberger entered the morning of November 13th, 2022, intent on carrying out murder. The photos also show handprints on the back window of the home, but we don't know who those belong to. Now, the Today Show also shared some of these photos from KTVB. One showed Maddie's boots on the ground. You can also see red Solo cups. The photos show a typical college house that one man destroyed, turning it into a horrific crime scene. For what reason? We still don't know, and whatever reason he gave would never make sense to any of us. The release of the photos came after this photo of Bryan Kohberger became public. It shows him shortly after his arrest on December 30th, 2022. Pennsylvania State Police raided his parents' home in Pennsylvania. Kohberger was wearing all black that morning. And now the entire video from the house next door to 1122 King Road has been released. The video from 1112 King Road was recorded from this camera. The house is right next door to where Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan were murdered. At 3:30 a.m., the white Hyundai Elantra pulls onto King Road for the very first time and then pulls out a couple of minutes later. Here's a clip from a video put together by the Idaho Statesman.
Now, if you were on Birdie's live last night, we discussed this a little bit about the timestamps, about the skipping, about the time is wrong. So much. There's so much. So I just want to remind you that this car was played backwards in reverse when it was actually coming in. They show it leaving the same way.
Idaho Statesman video editors speed up the video by 15 times to show the next time that Kohberger pulls onto King Road at 3:38 a.m. and then leaves King Road at 3:40 a.m.
Oh, I can't stand that noise. I'm going to mute it for a minute. There it goes back out. Now, I know that a lot of you have said there's somebody that okay. Remember how Dateline reported that that car went so fast that somebody was almost hit? Now, if this is a nugget that I have not shared with anyone, so write it down. Perk your ears up. If this car was played in reverse and it said it almost hit someone, is it possible they pick someone up if it was playing backwards? Did this car pick someone up on the way out? Or did this car, if it was going backwards and it looked like somebody was going to get hit, did they jump in the car with this person? Is that a possibility? Think about that for a minute.
Again, this video is speeded up by 15 times. And at 3:46 a.m., the DoorDash driver attempting to deliver food to Xana pulls onto King Road.
So if this car was driving around the back of Queen Road, is it possible they could have picked someone up or dropped someone off?
At 3:51 a.m., the DoorDash driver can be seen walking along the street. In her statement to police, she said she had trouble finding the address. She even used a flashlight to try to find the numbers on the house. She turns around at one point, and you can see her walking back toward 1122 King Road, her flashlight in hand. Then at 3:56 a.m., the white Elantra turns onto King Road again and leaves at 3:58 a.m. You saw the DoorDash driver left at 4 a.m. Detectives said in a report that Kohberger pulled in behind that driver and pulled out, and they don't believe that she ever saw him. Then at 4:04 a.m., the white Elantra pulls onto King Road again and makes a strange three-point turn.
Now, who thinks that this was the DoorDash? Which one, which car is this? Is this just a random car they threw in there? Which one?
Hey, I want to tell you about a free app that I've tried. It's called Upside, and it will give you cash back on things you use every gallon on your first tank of.
This time frame marks the beginning of the end of Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan's lives at the hands of Bryan Kohberger. Again, for no reason at all. Bryan Kohberger, dressed in all black, carrying a K-bar knife, sneaked into the house on King Road through the sliding glass door. The camera that captured these images also captured sounds believed to have come from Xana's bedroom. The loud thud could have been Xana falling to the ground. Police reports reveal that Xana fought for her life. She had more than 50 stab wounds, many to her arms, hands, and face. She tried to fight off Bryan Kohberger.
I'm going to go back a minute, guys. This camera right here, it was daylight savings time. Spring forward, fall back. This was fall. I believe this timestamp should read 3:17. Would anybody agree? 3:17 would fit a better timeline. Type a 1 if you think that this timeline was wrong. This timestamp is wrong, because I believe if this screw-in camera didn't have an automatic set time, which it didn't, and I'll show you why, that the time had to have been 3:17, not 4:17. 1 hour. And the reason I say that is in the documents. If you haven't been to the website, Justice for, spelled out, FOURALL, you'll definitely want it. So the camera at this house, let me grab it real quick. Type in the word camera. This document is amazing. You'll find any keyword that you want to see quick. This they even requested the videos at the Corner Club. Okay. This was the one that it says, this is when Payne drove a test drive. And he was driving to see if, taking the security camera footage from King Road in order to record a daytime view of the residents from Walenta Drive prior to the foliage returning to the trees in the area. And you can see that on the video I just showed you. Walenta is in the background. You can see the lights of the car in the back, down the driveway into King Road when you turn right. So that was one of the ones that he did. He did test runs. But this specific camera from 1112, I just type in 1112. It says, and they updated this on July 5th, 23. June. Wait, no. Yeah, it was written, the report was written on July 5th, 2023, but it says on June 15th, 2023, I was provided the entirety of the 112 King Road surveillance videos. This included 1,464 5-minute videos that range from a little after midnight, 55, to 5 o'clock the next day. And he got that on 11/17. So that was just a few days after the murders. Okay. And he was able to stitch the videos together to multiple hour clips. We're only getting what they want us to see, folks. We all know that, right? 100%. So we're only getting, hopefully you guys can see that a little better. Does that help? We're only getting a little bit of the picture. Just a tiny bit. Okay. So that's exactly what the supplemental police report said. Okay. Now, the other one, I wanted to use the keyword light bulb. This is crazy. So not only did they find in supplemental sequence number 88 on 12/22, this is wild because this is the light bulb camera that they had to go and they basically confiscated it. Okay. This is wild. I don't know if you read this. It's the light socket to the exterior residence, which we see on the porch. They powered the router and secured from the residence earlier and installed the camera, and then they got it. And it should be noted that the approximate temperature inside the house and installing between 5 and 9 degrees. It was previously installed and had a new SD card into the camera and powered it on, and the router and the camera at the Moscow Police Department to ensure the camera was functional. Then I was able to monitor the camera from the Home Pro app. And then he goes on to say that he was able to, Brett Payne was able to drive a white colored vehicle into the view of the camera. So Brett Payne, okay, I just showed you what happened to the knife crap, right? He was able to drive a white colored vehicle into the view of the camera. Brett Payne takes a white colored car and drives into the view of the camera. You guys seeing this? Okay. Then they have footage of a white car. Okay. Okay. For an audio comparison. Well, now why would you have an audio comparison when you're doing a video capture? Okay, anyways, I'll skip that. And so basically they say that they collected the camera and they disconnected it and they gathered the router and everything, and then they put it back into their evidentiary bags. Now, in another report, they says they basically had to confiscate it, right? So that's interesting, to say the least, when you look at that and you think, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. More evidence they create, in my opinion. Now, I hate to stop this on you guys, but I want you to see something. So now that we know that Payne drove a white car around there in view of the camera, you see this. If this is 316 and you hear the dog bark, all that good stuff. On my original timeline, and I don't know if you guys have seen this video of mine, I've got 3 poster boards on a wall with the timeline that I have plugged everything into. At 316, it says white car in my original notes, white car or Rosendahl. And it says with open in back. And at 323, there's that flashbang that we see on the Linda Lane. So if this is 316 and this is happening already, it's very possible at 323 you see a flashbang. Let me get the video back up here for you to see. A bag of evidence. That's a good one. All right. Let's finish watching this video.
The loud thud could have been Xana falling to the ground. Police reports reveal that Xana fought for her life. She had more than 50 stab wounds, many to her arms, hands, and face. She tried to fight off Bryan Kohberger. At 4:20, the coward flees the crime scene.
Now, do you think that Xana was strong enough to fight off Bryan Kohberger? I mean, allegedly. Do you think that she's that strong to fight him off? Like that much of a fight, guys? That's my point. I'm going to bring up a video. And this is why I want you to see this. Where'd it go? Where is that video? I know I bookmark it. Shoot. Where is it? You know the one I'm talking about. Here it is. Let me pull this up real quick. And it's muted. Okay. Now, do you think that Xana in her little body, I mean, she wasn't that big of a girl. She's a tiny, teeny girl, right? Do you think that it's possible that she would have put up some type of long fight with a man? I mean, I'm just thinking hypothetical here. Do you think that that would have been like a long drawn out fight with a man? Honestly? It's a sack bag of evidence. I'd wrestle around with Xana. I know that. Okay. So I'm kind of leaning towards that too. I read some of those crime scene photos. Yeah. So, I mean, think about this. You've seen the pictures of Xana, and you know that she possibly is not, I mean, that big of a girl. She's kind of tiny, in my humble opinion, right? From the pictures that we've seen. And in order to fight a man like that, do you think that she would have been possible to have a long, drawn out fight with a man? Enough to be stabbed 50 times. Now, I'm not speaking any disrespect for the family. I'm not speaking any disrespect for her. I'm just saying humbly, do you think that Xana was able to fight a long fight with a man? At 4 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning? In my humble opinion, I don't think so. And I would probably have to believe with this one. There was way too much damage and injury on her body physically for one person to do this in a small amount of time frame. Inside the house. So I don't know why anybody could think that this happened real quick, and why would she have 50 stab wounds? Let's finish watching this video.
Her life. She had more than 50 stab wounds, many to her arms, hands, and face. She tried to fight off Bryan Kohberger. At 4:20, the coward flees the crime scene.
Backwards. Now, that didn't sound like an Elantra to me, guys. Did it? No. Mm-mm. Doesn't sound like an Elantra to me. But in this report right here, guys, I'm going to show you. This was number 28 in the sequence, and it's talking about they downloaded 2 clips, included audio, which were not a part of the screenshots completed, and we were able to capture a longer duration. In the clips, the vehicle's exhaust and acceleration could be heard. After capturing the clips, I disconnected the camera and the Wi-Fi router and placed it into evidence. This was the one that said that approximately 356 at a high rate of speed at approximately 4:20. It entered the area and left at 4:20. If this was 2:16 and 3:20, would that make sense to you? if this was actually 256 and 320, would that make sense? Because at 316, they're saying that that video that I just showed you sped off, or at 420. If it was 320, that would make more sense. Because guess what happened at 256, guys? That is when Kaylee was trying to call JD over and over and over again. 256 was Kaylee's last call. 256 were her cell phone records. And that would make sense why all these times are off. So 256 was Kaylee's last call to JD. That would make sense. And it wasn't until 351 that Dylan makes a new contact. So by 329, I think everybody was pretty much gone. Let's finish watching this clip. There's Murphy barking. They're speeding off at 321.
We now know definitively that that white car that nearly lost control speeding away from the crime scene was driven by Bryan Kohberger. For more than 2 years, he denied it was him through his lawyers. But then last month, a sudden change of heart.
With respect to count 1, burglary, felony, how do you plead, Mr. Kohberger, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Prosecutors had planned to use this 3D model of the house on King Road to show jurors the strange layout of the house. The FBI actually built the model. The roof came off, and a witness like Dylan Mortensen would have likely used it to show jurors where her bedroom was located in relation to the others and the kitchen. But now there's no need for the model house.
As to count 2, murder in the first degree, as it relates to the murder of Madison Mogan, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count 3, as it relates to murder in the first degree for the murder of Kaylee Gonzalez, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count 4, the first degree murder of Xana Kernodle, a human being, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count 5, the first degree murder of Ethan Chapin, a human being, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Kohberger has finally admitted to killing the students in cold blood.
You've heard the plea agreement that I talked about today. Do you agree with that plea agreement?
Yes.
And do you understand the nature of the charges that you've been charged with that I understand you're going to plead guilty today to?
Yes.
Now, if he would have pled not guilty, this would have been a horrible disaster for the courts, for Idaho, for the police department, for ISP, for the FBI, for the victims, for the witnesses. Think about it. He took the fall. He was framed.
As I indicated, I'm not bound by the plea agreement, but the plea agreement is for the maximum on each count. Do you understand that I'm not bound by the plea agreement?
Yes.
Has anyone promised you that I would be lenient or easy on you if you pled guilty?
No.
Has anyone threatened you or anyone close to you to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Has anyone, other than the state's agreements with respect to the plea agreement, has anyone promised you anything in exchange for your plea agreement?
No.
Has anyone told you to be untruthful in answering my questions today?
No.
He hesitated.
Has anyone offered you a reward of any kind other than the plea agreement in order to get you to plead guilty today?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Before being taken to prison, families of the victims told Kohberger exactly what they thought of him.
I won't stand here and give you what you
I'm going to mute this because I think this is just disgusting to do in a court of law, no matter what, to anyone.
Battles, requests. Your first reaction to this video. I know Dateline published part of this video back in May. Now we have the Idaho Statesman getting a hold of this and publishing a longer version of it. Your thoughts as a death penalty prosecutor on watching this video and watching the white Elantra. Bryan Kohberger now admits it was me, just circling that crime scene, circling and circling. It's like a vulture
This is
circling.
crazy, y'all. Okay. Drop a 1 if you're still with me. I know it was a setup, but let me just say this. They have him on camera from, what did that police department, what did the police report say? From 0356, which would be 256 if the time is wrong. And to, hold on a minute, let me just say this. 0356. Okay, to 0420, so 320. He drove around the entire time. When did he have time to get out of that freaking car? Can someone please answer me that question? If he was driving around the entire time, how did he have time to get out of the car and do this and drive away? Someone please explain this to me. Am I just not thinking the way they're thinking, the way they're sharing this? Think about it. How in the hell did he get out of that car, commit all these crimes in that amount of time? I mean, that's common sense, people.
Around prey.
That's a good analogy. I have prosecuted murder cases, and I've worked on public records cases, and I've also been the one who has to redact records that get released to the press. So this is an interesting perspective for me to talk about. There's a sinister feeling to watching this. We know what's about to happen, and it does feel like a vulture circling a prey or a shark circling a victim. And, you know, obviously it's late at night. It just makes it feel creepier. And then there was the release of the crime scene photos that some of which were blurred, but we have a real sense of what it looked like outside as he was building up the nerve to commit this crime that he probably had been fantasizing about in his head for days, weeks, or months. And then what it looked like inside to be actually there and,
Right.
and know that
So
that's
you
what
kinda get
the
the
crime
idea
scene
of this
looked like to
video.
him and the last images of his victims. You take the red cups and put them on the ground. You take cases of beer and put them down on the ground, and you'd have stuff all messy. This is exactly what it looked like. So it's we all have been in houses like this, and that's what some people live like. Good on them. That's what they're supposed to do when they're kids. But it is a reminder that this innocence was stolen by this personification of evil, circling. Some of them are.
I'll leave it right there. I can't listen to the rest of that. I know you guys probably can't either. But those were the current crime scene photos. I haven't seen anyone's released. I only got 2 that have not been seen on TV yet. I don't know when more are coming. But what I want to see, and I don't know if you guys, I want to actually see the crime scene photo markers. They'll release crime scene photos, but then they'll have markers of evidence. And that is the one that I desire to see the most. Now, I'm going to run off of here and I'm going to go and see if Bertie's on. I think he was supposed to get on some stream with Sherlock Romes and go catch up and see what's going on in the TikTok streets and the YT. Enjoy your Friday night. I love you guys. You guys have been so awesome. Thank you for coming in and sharing time with me on my channel. Greatly appreciate it. I know a lot of people are over there watching he had his vegan and so I just appreciate all of you guys here. Drop the love. Make sure you leave more DNA on that thumbs up button here than Bryan Kohberger allegedly left on that knife sheath. I need food. Yes, go eat, go touch grass, spend time with your family, be well, and Phoenix out.